Hi guys. Um, let's proceed from where we stopped. So we did finish the React router DOM. Now, um, what I want us to do now is to view an individual student. When I click on an individual student to view his or her own details, and um, also try to delete individual students. So what do I need to do? First of all, before I do that, I feel like my page has no padding. I think I can go to my layout and then add a div. Div, and then you can, or I can just do it inside this one. I think doing it inside the parent div is much better. So I'll just say class name and then container and then mx auto to center it. I think that one will make sense. Let me go to about. Yes, so you can see also when you go to about, or even when I click on this, you'll realize that the footer and the content in the middle is touching themselves. So for you to avoid that, you enclose your outlet with a div, with a div like this, and then pass a class name, and then you can pass a height. Or because I feel like Bootstrap does not have a height, we can do it using the style, the inline styling. Yes, but inline styling in React, you need to do it this way. Yes, so style and then curly brackets twice, and then you can say height, and then you now pass the value. So I can just say 70 view height. So that's 70% of any screen that you are using. So when you check this, you will realize that it is much better. So I can just increase this one to maybe 90, like that. You can see it much better. So any page will, even if you don't have anything in that page, it will ensure that there is a space between navbar and the footer. Alright? Yes, even this one, by the way, I need to remove these numbers. It was just for testing purposes. So I'll go back to my home and then I will remove them. Where was it? This H1. Yes. So this one now is okay. So what I want to do now is when I click on this, it will open this page and then it will fetch the student with that specific ID. Alright? So what I will do, I'll go back here, go back to where I have student. This is where I need to fetch it. So I'll just use the use effect as you import it. Okay, and then comma that way, and then I will now perform my fetch. So I'll say fetch, I'll pass my URL there, and then .then. This one is actually to convert your response to JSON. So I'll say res.json. That way, remember JSON is a function. And then the last then is where we utilize now what we are getting. So I'll just say, I can even call it data, and then I'll pass my arrow like that, right? Yes, so I will now do the console.log, and then I'll say data, like that. So anytime I open this page, it should actually render the data, a student with that specific ID. So I'll go back home, and then I'll copy my URL. So don't actually forget that we need to pass this ID, which is actually a kind of variable. So I'll have to use the backticks, and then inside here I'll say and ID, like that. You see that? Yes, so I'll say and ID. So by doing this now, I should be able to fetch a student with that specific ID. So let me refresh this, and then inspect, go to console, and then let's check. You can see we have an object with a student ID of 1. So that means when I now go and click maybe an ID of 6, it should actually fetch a student with an ID of 6. So now that means I'm able to display my single or an individual student. So for me, instead of me now having to do all this kind of styling, I will just go back home. I will just copy the way it is, which means I want just to copy these ones the way it is. I'll not perform any styling for now, and then I'll paste it inside here. Yes, so remember, we've not appended our data to a useState variable. So I'll come here and say const, and then I'll say student, and then set student, and then I'll say useState, and then remember we expect an object here because it is an individual student, so it will be an object. And then I'll go here, I'll change now from this one's from Y, all of this Y, and then I'll change to student, which is the student that I just created here. And then now inside where we have the console.log, I will now say set student to be the data. So the purpose of this line actually is to check if you are fetching data. It is just for debugging purposes. That's the only role of this one. So I'll comment out that, and then I'll scroll down, and then let me check here. Go back home, refresh, click on this one. We have an error somewhere. Oh, we have an error of map, student.obis.map. So what is expected here, we first need to check if the student is existing, and then now you can go ahead and do the map that way. So let me refresh. You'll still have the same error. Click on student number 2. Okay. Student number 2. Because this one actually is talking about undefined reading map. So I did say student and student.obis. Okay, let me just say student.obis and student.obis.map. Let's check this one. Yes, this one actually is working. This is perfect. And as you can see now, anytime you click a specific student, it should actually display that student. You can see, go back home, click on this guy, it will display that guy. Go back home, click on Chris Brown, it will just display that. So you can see it is actually displaying that specific student. So when you go back to your backend, let me just check what I have in my db.json. So you can see you have name, age, email. Yes, name, age, email. So let me go back. We have name. Let me just add age, and then we can have email. Yes, so we needed to display all the details for this person. And then inside home, you can just have the name of that person. I think that one makes sense. Where inside home, you can just have some few details of that person, and then in an event that somebody clicks on it, it can now display all the necessary details. You can see that. All right. Yes, so now we are able to fetch this data, and it is always also important to always pass the ID here, which is this ID, to ensure that every time that the value of that ID changes, it actually fetches the student with that ID. So it makes life much easier. Yes. So now I'm now able to fetch an individual student. So now we are now remained with we've now done fetch all and then fetch individual. So we can now do the delete, and then the other ones we can do maybe tomorrow. Yes. Okay. So what I will do now, I will now create a function for delete. Right? I'll just come here and say function, and then I can call it handle delete. So remember, while you are deleting, of course, you need to have an ID, and then curly brackets, and then I'll just copy this one the way it is. By the way, I don't think I even need this ID because I already have it here. So I already have the ID, so I don't need it. I don't need to look for it again. So I just need to call it this function, and then it will actually perform its delete. Okay, but now remember here we need to have comma, and then inside here you need to pass a method. That's a must. And then I'll say delete. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, I was supposed to pass a curly brackets here. Yes, you need to pass a curly bracket and then enter like that, and then this way. Yes, so by doing this now, it will delete that student. But remember, this is a function. A function will not do anything unless you call it. So I'll just come below here. I'll create a button just below. Let me just look for a bootstrap button. I look for the one which is red. That is number button danger. And then I make it small. I'll call it btn sm, that is for small, to make it a little bit smaller. And then here I'll call it delete. You can see that. And then I'll come back here, go to my browser. Where is it? You can see now we have the delete. Okay, I don't know why. It is because of our hobbies here. And just pass it inside div so that it avoids having all of them in one line. Let's check it here. Yes, so you just need maybe margin top, and then you're good to go, like MT3. And then our button is ready to do the required. So now inside here, inside this button, I will add and on click event listener, and then is equals to curly brackets, of course, anonymous arrow function. Oh, okay. I think I don't even need anonymous arrow function because I don't need to pass any argument. So I'll just say handle delete. So when I click on handle delete, it will just call this one, handle delete. And then inside here, we should get a success message. So I can even do the console.log success. But now you need to remember something. When I delete this one successfully, when I refresh the page, you'll realize that we will no longer have it, right? So that means every time you do the delete successfully, you need to use what we call navigate for you to navigate to the home page after successful deletion. All right? Yes, so anytime I delete successfully this one, it should actually redirect me to the home page. So that is where use navigate comes in. So I'll just come below here. I will import what we call use navigate, and then just above here I'll just declare a variable. I'll call it nav, and then I'll say use, that is initializing use navigate. Remember, it's a hook. And then now inside here, where is it? Where we have the delete, so success message. I will now navigate to where? To my home. So remember again, this / is what you actually have in your app.jsx. It is actually talking about the index, so it will redirect to home page after successful deletion. All right. Yes, so what I'll now do, I'll now go to my db.json. Let me try to bring it back. I think now we have all of them at the same time. You can see we have all of them. Let me click on this guy. Wow. So when I click on this, it's not even fetching it. Okay, let me go to student. I have an error somewhere. Handle delete. Okay, handle delete. So we should fetch the student. All right. Okay, let me just come here and then console.log. Console.log, and then the data, and then we'll see if it's actually displaying something. So let me just inspect, refresh. 5 errors. Oh, for 4 not found. A student with an ID of 1. Okay, let me check my server. Let me just close it and then let me open my server again. Let me check if we have. Yes, I actually have it. Okay, for 4 not found. Token is not a valid. Let me just go back, clear. Alright, so let me try to remove this on click and then let's see if it will actually display it. Let's save this and then let's check. Let me click on this for user messages. We have the errors here. 5 is not found. Okay, let me check from this point where we have here, and then I'll just say /1. Okay. I think I get it. It's not even showing it. Let me check. Oh, all right. I can see where the actual problem is. But when I print this, it should actually give me it should actually give me a student with that specific ID. But just give me some seconds, I figure it out to avoid wasting a lot of time. Sorry for that. I figured it out. So for the first time, I actually deleted the data. So when I brought it back, I guess it wanted me to restart my server. That is my JSON server, and then I'll be able to fetch the data again. So yes, that was actually where the problem is. So let me now bring it back. My delete, and then handle delete. So I'll click on the John Doe, and then when I click on delete, it should actually delete the data and then redirect me to the home page. So I'll click on delete. You can see it is gone. When I click on Sarah Wilson, when I click on delete, it should delete and then take me back home. The only problem that we have it here is that it is not giving a message that it has actually been deleted. Right? Yes, it's not actually showing the message. It's only maybe showing in the console, but we'll handle that one tomorrow or later on. Otherwise, I think that's all for this session. For now, you are able to fetch all students, view individual student, and then be able to delete that specific student. Right, so otherwise you guys can have a nice evening.